Welcome. That's some way to start. Anyways, we are back for another episode of Shadow of the Colossus. We just defeated Quadratus last time. Pretty poorly, but we did it. And then moving on. The anger of a sleeping giant shatters the earth. So that's an interesting clue. So we will head our way there. A canopy that soars to the heavens. That's a very thoughtful way to put it, I suppose. A canopy that soars to the heavens. Why is there so much noise outside? Good grief. Hope you don't hear that stupid truck. Anyways, there is Mono. Of course, she's dead. There's a reason we're doing all this for, so that maybe she could live again. So there is aggro. I'm going to say right now, this is not live. This is definitely post-com, and this is also my second attempt doing it because I had it, and then I closed SHAREfactory because I'm fantastic like that. So we're going to be trying this commentary for a third time overall. Anyways, our journey today will take us actually a good bit further than we actually have been before. So you can see our direction we're heading in today. So, but before we do, I want to make a quick stop off to another bridge, where we defeated Quadratus. Because I think it's, well, you'll see in a sec. But we're coming across a bridge that we'll probably be using the most out of, I'd say, in this game than any other. But you can see there on the beach, there is the deceased corpse of Quadratus, and it's actually quite sad looking at it from here. Obviously, just yeah, I mean, some things don't really need explaining because he's just there, and we put him there. So, a very lovely beach has kind of been not ruined, but it's eerie knowing that something that once held life no longer does. And it's just going to be sitting there for all eternity. That corpse doesn't decay; it gets buried possibly, but the mound is, because the mass is so huge, that do you really ever bury something like that on a beach? So, anyways, if the jump cuts weren't any other weren't a hint as to live comm, obviously I already told you. So you see the direction we're heading. We do not want to head off the direction of the cliffs. That would be a good place to start, to not die before we get to the Colossus. They'll be trying to kill us themselves, but we don't really need to be giving them the upper hand, do we? So, anyways, I want to check out this little site here, because this looks quite eerie. Kind of, I don't know if it's smoke or... Well, I do know I don't know what it is, but again, I'm playing along with it as if I didn't know it what it was. And that area, that dark cloud kind of area, see a couple of dead trees there, is something we will probably be visiting in the future. So just want to make mention of it. And you can see our destination is in front of us, but of course there are some cliffs in front of us, so we might not be able to progress entirely, so we have to find a road around, but not before we find one of these, a shrine. Now, I mentioned in the first episode that you could, if you shoot fruit from a tree, you can get health upgrades, and if you find lizards with white tails, excuse me, you can get stamina upgrades. So first thing we want to do is we want to bend the knee at the shrine, and all of these shrines will have a white-tailed lizard. Now, I spent a good bit of time looking for this one here, wondering where the hell he was, so eventually I decided I would climb it and see. And can you hear that? There he is. So of course we want to shoot him. Well, you can technically kill him. You can technically get his tail without killing him, and I prefer to do that. But because I spent so long looking for him, I wasn't in a merciful mood. So I tried. Look, you can see I tried to aim at the tail, but I was afraid he was going to move. So didn't hit him there. I more so stunned him. And you can see he crawls his way down. That didn't kill him either, but I'm pretty sure this one will. Boom. Well, that one definitely did. So, anyways, we're going to go over to him. You can see I was waiting for him to move again. He didn't, so I only assumed that he was dead. And if we could jump up correctly, we can grab his white tail by pressing R2. This doesn't give us a ton of upgrade, but look, it's something, and every little bit counts when it comes down to hanging these colossi. We really need to keep on them as long as we can, and anything that can help us in doing that will certainly be welcome. So I wanted to make sure I saved before I went on, because, you know, just in case I turned the game off or something and had to get that stupid tail again. It took long enough the first time, so try to look for aggro. There you are. So let's ride, horse, ride. So, and again, I get my buttons confused because X and triangle in the PS3 version and the PS2 version were different. Triangle was to jump, and X was to call aggro, whereas inversed now for the PS4 version. Or rather, it is as it always should have been. It should always be X to jump. Always. So, we'll continue heading on. Apologies if you take a nice swig. We're going to head into this little path. It kind of reminds me of the path leading up the hill, up the mountain to where the dead are in the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. So, I can't remember the name of the road. Doomhall or something? I think it begins with a D. So, but through such hills, aggro does not like to really ride fast, so in such confined spaces, which is understandable. I got lost in this place. This is the area of the game, of the map rather, where it's very easy to get lost. There's lots of different paths and different forks in the road that you can take, and for that reason you can get very lost. And I'm going to cut a bit of it out. I'm going to leave some of it in because it's just, I mean, this place is just beautiful. I mean, look at it. Imagine just coming here for a walk, knowing that in a forbidden land it's you and only you in this space. So that's kind of eerie in many ways. Kind of see now. We should have gone right here, I believe. We should have gone right. So, but we went straight instead. The only reason why this place is a pain in the ass is because, oh, forgive my terrible horse driving, by the way, it's really, really bad. The only reason why this place sucks, well, sucks, but your sword, only, as you can see, I'm in the sunlight, it only reflects light and directs you where to go when you're in the sun. Of course, in this area there's a lot of shadows and shade, so you can't really see where you are going. So that is an issue for which I require a tissue. Not really, but we should have gone right here, I believe. Instead we continue to go down this road. If not that one, we should have gone right here. But instead I'm going to ride this way. And again, I try to direct my sword. Just trying to go off of memory at this stage. I always get lost. I've played this one a few times and I always get lost heading here. I really do, and it's really, really annoying. Again, I should have looked it up before I left, but I thought, nah, I'll remember it, I'll be fine. Because I've had times where I was not looking for this one, and I've stumbled across it, so the place where it's supposed to be. Anyways, this is where we take the wrong turn. But again, because we're in the shadows, I just kind of have to ride and hope until I get to some sort of spot with some sunlight where I can reflect the sword and find the right way. So, anyways, while we're doing this, I guess we could talk about Wander for a bit, kind of our main protagonist. He's not a man of many words. We don't know a ton about him. We don't know where he's from. We don't know any tribe or anything like that, or a place where he's from. We don't know we know his motives for coming on this journey. I think it's fair to say that that cutscene where we saw that mask and that fire talking about this place, where it said there was a being that could control one from light and could possibly raise the souls of the dead, was a legend that Wander heard, possibly when he was younger, more likely when he was young, and so here's just me cutting out, getting lost, but not before we get to a completely different exit. See, actually we feed into a part of the map where We're coming from the other side. If we took the first bridge where we went to see Quadratus, and we looped all the way around the top, we would eventually come through here. But this is definitely not where we want to be. Looked like a legend that was told to him in his youth, or maybe even more recently than that. But he knew that this was a land that we were not supposed to go on or enter. But he did it despite that warning, because there was someone of great importance to him that had deceased, and he didn't think it was fair or whatever, and just desperately wanted her to be back. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing everything that we're doing, so that she may live again. But doesn't really speak, like we don't really hear any of his thoughts. Kind of, he speaks in the main cutscene, the opening one, and in his conversation with Dorman. But after that, we don't really hear anything from him. Not his thoughts, not his kind of any internal monologue. Nothing really. Like he's man of action, and Dorman set out pretty clearly what we need to do if there's a chance that she could be raised from the dead. That we have to kill these 16 Colossi. So I guess there's not really much more we could do apart from that, and do exactly that, just as Dorman said, because that's all we have to. That's all we're putting our hope in, is that Dorman can do this once we actually finish. And as you can see, there's a long way to go, but this is now the right path. This is the path you want to take. Well, if you're coming from this side, I mean, you should be going through the other side. But I, like an idiot, came through the wrong side. See the shrine of worship there in the background. Here's a clearing. And here we are. A canopy that soars to the heavens. I'd say that's fairly accurate of what we have to do now. So Aggro, of course, cannot swim with us. She cannot swim, so we'll have to go this one alone. And swimming in this game is a pain in the ass because it's very, very slow. If you press R2 to dive, you can swim a little faster. But I mean, we're still covering ground pretty slowly. So a canopy that soars to the heavens. I really like that, how they phrase that. I really like it. This is a strange sight. What would have happened here normally? Was this land ever filled with people? Was it ever used? Because this seems like a very... Well, it's obviously a man-made contraption, obviously, because look... Oh, hold on, no, don't drown. Don't drown before I even get there. Because this can't be natural, obviously. It's man-made in some regard, but what was it made for? Hard to say. But look at the view, though. From up here, you could see the tops of these cliffs that we've been navigating through. And, ooh. So that's where we have to be. Look at that view, man. But we need to make a jump first. And we can't jump directly from where we are to the platform. We need to go through this little bit in the middle. Fail. So I had to swim all the way back. And you can see now these pillars of light. I'm just noticing, I'm just looking at these now. The pillars of light are the sites of fallen colossi that we have killed. So before we were kind of close enough, we were never really far enough to really see these because we were so close to Valus and Quadratus. But you can see there, look at that, a beam in the sky, it's hitting the sky, and some sort of thunder in that spot. So I'm not sure what that's about, but that's what those are. They are the sites of fallen colossi from afar. So if we are successful, we will be seeing many more of those on our journey. And here I'm just testing the jump, because if you hold X, you jump higher than if you tapped it. So anyways, jumpity, there we go. And now we are here. So a canopy that soars to the heavens. Well, look at this though. There's the shrine of worship you can see in the background. And what do we have here today? Oh dear. This is Gaius, Colossus number 3, Gaius, a fan favourite Colossus. He is the Colossus on the front cover of this game, and he is armed with a sword, and he is not afraid to use it. So, your first thought is, how on earth do I get up onto him? An interesting pedestal in the middle there. How on earth do I get onto? There's no fur on his feet, and there are ledges on his legs, but nothing that we can jump up to. So you're thinking, well, what do I do? Well, we kind of saw before, when he struck his sword into the ground, how it kind of stayed there for a sec. And so, let's get him to try to do that again. He's just absolutely incredible. So anyway, let's run up the sword. And hey, there's fur! There's fur up on his arm. But we're not going to get very far, because look at that ring. That armor around his arm. There's no way past that. So we're going to have to jump off. Find another way. Now, if you remember, the clue from Dorman is that the anger of this giant shatters the earth. So you probably saw a little pedestal in the middle there he's standing on, and it kind of made a cling when he stood on it. Well, maybe we should get the sword to hit onto that, because of the force of the sword, and obviously it being a metal or some sort of stone, very sturdy stone. Maybe that could have project enough force up through his arm, and maybe something could give. So we're trying to get him towards this area of the map where we can run around, and then he'll be in a position to strike us. Now, he does have a vertical strike as well, and that's what he's going to do now, so get the hell out the way. Okay. So this is a fan favourite Colossus for a few reasons. One, his design's really good. He is tall, he's 29 meters tall, he's the third tallest Colossus we will fight. And the arena that we are in is like a Colosseum. It's not kind of the sort of like in any kind of area. Like, this is a dedicated battle arena, it looks like, that we have here with Gaius. We tried to get him to hit the centre, but we moved just a bit too late, or too early rather, and he just missed it. So we're going to get him to try to do it again. And so if you haven't got it already, Dorman will kind of spell it out for you. You can turn off the Dorman tips, but really, if you're playing the game, you probably will need them. Boom. You see a big chunk of his armor came off, and now the way is opened, which I believe is the name of the song that is now playing. He is just absolutely incredible, but now that his armor has been breached, we're going to try this again. Run up his arm and see if we can have any luck. Holy crap, that was close. So the difference. So at the beginning of the game, you were asked if you want to do easy, normal, or hard mode. The difference between the easy, normal, and hard mode is that, for the most part, hard mode has extra spots to hit on each Colossus. So if you're playing hard mode on this particular Colossus, you will have a spot to strike on his arm. But we're not playing hard, we're playing normal. So we're going to jump over onto his stomach, where there's a spot for us to work on. So let's get to work on this spot on his stomach. You see a nice little jump there that we made before. So he's going to try to shake us around, obviously to stop us from killing him, but we got everything in our advantage here. We've got a place to rest, our stamina, and obviously in places to grab if he starts shaking. So really, the ball is in our court when it comes to this spot. So let's continue to work at this spot. And there's one more spot after this that we need to hit, and then let's see how we get on. Come on. I think one more hit ought to do it, because he's just shy of half health. I'm going to drop actually and just gain my stamina, make sure I'm okay. Come on. Boom. Is that enough, or do we need one more? Looks like we need one more. It's going to be a very, very short one though, because it's going to the damage needed is absolutely minimal, so boom, there you go, look at that nonsense. Anyways, that glyph has been hit, and there's no real way from his body directly up to his head, so we need to go back onto his arm. Which is fine, because that's only a short little jump. Whee! See, he's quite furry, but just not around his legs. There is, bizarrely, a trophy on PS4 where if you kill him without breaking his armor, I will get into kind of how you can do that later, because you will kind of see him anyway. So we're going to get onto his shoulders, rest here on his shoulders, and look at the view, man. This one is extremely tall. Again, third tallest out of the 16. Behind only the final one, and Quadratus is listed as being taller than Gaius. I'm not sure if I believe it, but that's what it says. So I'm going to, and I've seen them, the little, that picture of them all in one, kind of there as a height comparison. So, anyways, let's get to work on the spot on his head. He's going to shake us around, and look at him, man. He is just, in conjunction with kind of how his appearance is, the noises he makes as well are also kind of, I don't want to say cool, because they are the noises that he's making while we are killing him. So, oh dear, that's a disaster. I need to get onto his shoulder right now and try and regain some stamina. Oh, I have just fallen. Great. Basically back to where we just started. Let's regain. It's easy to climb up his arm. Well, it's easier to climb up his arm and his sword, rather. So when you're on his sword, he's going to shake you around, and I suppose this is the way you'd actually get onto his back and the such. If you want to go for that trophy and get that trophy for not breaking his armor, and that does not help either. So fantastic. We're basically back to square one. We need him to strike the earth, and we need to climb up his sword once again. So not exactly a very good fight of Gaius, but I'm trying, man. Anyways, we need him to strike us. Try and strike us, but he wouldn't do it for the longest time. I'm going to keep running here, and he wouldn't flipping do it. So eventually what you need to do is you need to lead him over to an edge, and then run back, so make him stop and turn around. But he's just kind of moving. And won't stop moving, so I stopped here to see if he would, once I stopped moving, he might strike me then, but he didn't. And that was annoying. But anyways, so Gaius, he's got a sword. You see his hand is kind of a stump, not really fingers. So his sword is kind of one always with his hand. So that's kind of an interesting thing about him. This music is actually really good. I don't think much of this song on its own, but when you actually fight it, it's fantastic. But anyways, he's going to strike us. And up we run once again. A little further to go this time as he yanks his sword from the earth. We need to get on his arm and not fall off. Come on. Believe me, I'm jamming X in this moment when I was playing to get back up. There we go. There's not a ton left on his head, but let's try and finish this one. So we're going to go up his arm again. We're going to rest here when the armor is broken, because that's a nice opportunistic place to rest and not fall off. And this time we're going to try to go up the back of his arm. So things a little bit different. Look at the man. He's just, look at the view. This is what the view from 29 odd meters looks like. 29 meters tall. It's absolutely ludicrous. How much is he? Would he be on par with the size of the worship of shrine or shrine of worship? I have to say, close enough to it. Let's get back to work on this spot. It's all sorts of sounds, isn't he? Oh, that was a good stab. Important stab there. Almost there. That's a big stab right there. That's a big one. Come on, hold on. We're just about there. I'm actually going to jump back on his back or his shoulder blades, gain a bit of stamina, and set us up then for the final run. Come on, big boy. Let's finish this. One more will do it. He's making noises that make me uncomfortable, man. Come on. Almost there. He's really shaking us. Not giving us the opportunity to get a shot in. Boom. That was very, very final. The way his arm and his sword just went down like that. Anyways, there's no escape from that, as we know, so we just have to take it and be on our merry way. And back we are, with one more shadow to look over us. And that's creepy, man. Let's see his head, the way it just pops down like that, is the one thing that just kind of stood still. Kind of just, like, kind of fell perfectly down. But that's number 3 down. What next? Any exposition? No. The next foe is in the land of the vast green fields, rows of guiding graves. It is giant indeed, but fearful it is not. I don't know what that means. If you haven't played it, of course you won't have a clue what that means. It certainly won't help you in the fight. So anyways, that is number 3. That was Gaius. Let me go back up. There's one extra dove. I'll sheath my weapon. Not go into photo mode. Sheath my weapon. And just take a look. And, good job, aggro. You got me there. In one piece. We won't always have to abandon you for these. We will need you for some of these. And when we need you, we will absolutely need you. You will be so important. Just as Mono is important to Wander. It's the reason why we're doing this. So anyways, we just had to take a look back at our work. There's Valus, there's Gaius, and in between that there was Quadratus, and then here is our next target. So that was like a very long neck or something. So interesting to see what that will be. So anyways, that's it for this episode, the 3rd Colossus. That was Gaius, a fan favorite Colossus. And next one's one of my favorites as well. So see you then.